We're back.
Yes, we are. It's been a while. Lots. I don't know if any more could have happened since we've had a podcast, but there's been a lot going on. The Campbell stuff was probably the stuff that we didn't talk about yet, which was a crazy time period. You were not as freaking out as much as I was.
You know, I hate to say it, I'm right, but I told you when you were freaking out. I said he's sitting at Pollard's house right now hammering out a new deal, and
I mean, that hasn't happened yet, but
no, but I think that's what's been going on most of the time. I mean, I kept everybody I was talking to about this. I was going back to the quote he said last fall or last summer. He said, I want to do something, not be somebody, or something to that effect. He doesn't want to be somebody. He wants to.
Yeah, but
something like that.
I think he was the second option to USC, and I think he would have took that job because they laid out a deal that you cannot give up. You cannot not take it.
But you have to live in LA. You have to live in California, which is a flipping pile of dog crap right now.
$110 million. They just absolutely
raise your kids in LA.
Yeah, but if you have all that in a private jet, they just threw the kitchen sink at coaches, and because they need to do something. They haven't been relevant in so long, and I'm glad Lincoln Riley decided to leave Oklahoma because I think Campbell would have took it, but he didn't. And then another nightmare happened at Notre Dame. Brian Kelly goes to LSU.
That one I was worried about
because we've always been hearing that. Well, it's always been the thing that Campbell that's his dream job, and we always thought we're safe for a while because Brian Kelly's has been doing such a good job at Notre Dame. Then he leaves for LSU, and then I saw that. I'm like, yep, makes sense. He's gone. It's been a good run. We're saying goodbye to Breece Hall, Brock Purdy, Will McDonald, Mike Rose, and it just makes sense that next year will be a brand new, like maybe have Nate Schillhouse or whoever the head coach would be, but then the Notre Dame, the fan base rallied behind their defensive coordinator, who seems to be looks like a good fit because that one video of him just showing everyone was just so pumped because they have a top 5 recruiting class and all the recruits wanted him to stay, and thank God, because I think if this happened last year, I think Campbell's gone to Notre Dame, and it's just no better time to go 7-5 than this year. Because
I think so. I think he would. We have. Obviously, we love Coach Campbell. We don't want him to ever leave, but I think he might have been a hard sell to the Notre Dame fan base.
Not last year.
Not last year, no, but the 7-5 this year.
But people have such short memories because last year happened. Like Breece, look at his last 3 running backs: Breece Hall, Dave Montgomery, and Kareem Hunt. He's done that with no offensive line.
Do you think all of our cousins that are big Notre Dame fans would have been excited about it?
No, they didn't want Campbell.
Right.
They want another guy because Notre Dame fans are still living in the night. Like all these cousins I have, they haven't really been they haven't had a consciousness of since Notre Dame's won the national title.
Right.
And they've gone to the game, but it's not been close. So I don't know. I just feel like that's what Brian Kelly is kind of crazy to think that Notre Dame's gotten to a point where all right, I brought you to this point. I feel like it maxed out. I'm going to LSU where he can recruit an hour from Baton Rouge and win titles, and Notre Dame can't do that.
Speaking of a pile of dog crap, Brian Kelly has turned out to be one. I mean, some of the stuff everybody's been saying about him, and the thing that drives me crazy is when Fran Fraschilla, he reposted something on Twitter about 2 grad assistants that got invited to his house, to Brian Kelly's house, to a party or something for the assistants, and they were excited about going, and Brian Kelly made him shovel snow the entire time.
But
what a piece of crap, this guy. And then he got a magical Southern accent.
Yeah,
he is the definition of fake.
But he got bought from LSU, and I think he'll win titles there. He's a great coach. He's won everywhere. He's maxed out every team everywhere. He's been gone. Cincinnati left at the peak, went to Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's already maxed out there with Brian Kelly, and he goes to LSU, and he wants probably close to retiring, wants to win titles. His personality, it's just amazing to me that he was at Notre Dame for 12 years because he's exactly not what the Catholic
now with the persona, right?
Persona of Notre Dame, doing the right way because he's always like there was a time period where the Notre Dame fans were sick of him because he was treating the players like crap on the sidelines and freaking out. And yeah, it's just I don't know.
The days of Rudy are long gone. I mean, Notre Dame is a football factory is all it is. I mean, but they're not cranking out titles like Alabama is. They still think they're too good to be in a conference. They always have to have their own TV deal. I mean, then Brian Kelly, after what we learned, how big of a pile of crap he is. I mean, they were obviously, selling their soul a little bit to try to win a title with him. It didn't work out. And I think ball don't lie. I don't think Kelly's winning a title at LSU. I don't think it's happening. I don't think he will.
I think if Gene Chizik can win a title, I think Brian Kelly can win a title. It just takes one
Brian Kelly, but
player.
Gene Chizik, Brian Kelly's not walking into what Gene Chizik walked into, I don't think. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't follow LSU football close enough, and I know they've got a lot of recruits down there. But he's, if you're that big of a dirtbag, that you're that bad of a human being as he appears to be, I don't think, I think Nick Saban can possibly be that way, but I don't think he is anywhere on the level of Brian Kelly as far as being a dirtbag.
Because Nick Saban's so good that he doesn't have to be that.
Right.
He comes off as a hard ass, but like he's just like an old suit coach that cares about his players.
Everywhere he's gone.
Won everywhere. Just like watching the Georgia Alabama game last night. It was like they're doubted by the media all week, and they just absolutely kind of steamrolled Georgia. Because if Georgia wins, Notre Dame gets in the playoff.
Yeah.
And Brian Kelly left that team that would have been playing the playoff. That was what I was cheering for, because I want to see Notre Dame somehow win a title.
That would have been awesome.
And when Brian Kelly left them, but it just didn't work out like that.
But Alabama shouldn't. I mean, we watched that game. Alabama should have lost the game before.
Yeah.
And then they're done.
Yeah, but
I mean,
yeah, and just it was a crazy couple weeks with Campbell's. Because Campbell's so quiet and he doesn't have an agent, so I feel like that kind of it still makes us worried. Like seeing the journalists just predict him going to every job. Like I even saw a journalist say that he should be a perfect fit for the Virginia job.
Yeah, well, that was just throwing stuff up against the wall, see if something will stick. That's the hard part about the world we live in, is that there's so many guys out there trying to just say something to get somebody to listen to them. Yeah. That was an example of that. But but all of the people that we know that are connected to the program, the one of them that I reached out to, said there's only 3 people on this planet that know what Campbell's going to do.
Yeah,
It's Campbell, his wife, and his lawyer. Yeah. That's it, and that's the way it's going to be. But as long as he doesn't have an agent, unless he wants us to know what's going on, the quieter it is, the better it is, and that's what I thought was going on. And I'm glad I was, it appears that I was right. I still worry a little bit more about the NFL. That if the NFL job would come, the right one would come, that he would jump. But I don't think it's going to happen this year.
Nothing about Campbell screams the NFL. He likes like building character and people and around him. Nothing about that is an NFL.
Yeah,
NFL is like the players don't say, "Oh, they're going to fire you before they fire me." So
right.
I don't see Campbell going to the NFL. I feel like if he wanted to go to the NFL, he would already be there because he's gotten some opportunities to go there. And it was a scary time. I'm very anxious.
And then it was just eye-opening to everybody see the amount of money that is getting thrown around for these things. And we're, and they say like a $10 million a year deal, I'm assuming that's salary, not all the other stuff that they're throwing at them too, like, cars, houses, whatever they're going to, some guys get the jet to recruit with and all that stuff. I mean, and the guarantee if they leave or get fired, I mean, the amount of money floating around is just absolute insanity right now.
Yeah, the Notre Dame shoe drop for Brian Kelly. I was just like, man, it just felt like Fred Hoiberg all over again. But it was like Fred Hoiberg watch, but like on steroids. Because if Campbell leaves, then I don't know what happens.
Yeah, he's not leaving. So we didn't have the season we thought we wanted, or we didn't have the season we were hoping to have. I mean, the Texas Tech and the West Virginia game are 2 I think we're going to look back on for a long time and be a what if.
But I feel like
no business
getting through last week felt like 2 more wins extra, because like
right.
if Campbell leaves, like it doesn't matter if we're good this year. Like he's gone, our future's in jeopardy. Because I just feel like Campbell is just so like he's built this place for Campbell, around Campbell, like his staff. It's just so important for him to stay, and I'm excited for. I was just like bummed out because I want to look forward to next year rather than like being so questions because like we have some talent, like we have the best recruiting class coming in, and like with coming. What I was worried about is Campbell leaving, then they all could decommit and go somewhere else.
Yeah,
within a week.
We already lost one. I mean, even without the change, we had the guy decommit. That's just the world we live in right now. I mean,
like we could just literally been washed, and like we're just getting like we have no players on our class because everyone left because Campbell left.
Yeah,
and they had to restart because like the early signing period. Then all the good players signed now, and then we're just like trying to pick up scraps after that.
Unless you're bringing in like a home run hire that's going to be that's a big name, that would have set us back several years more than likely. I mean, if we would have had all the decommits that you were worried about. So
yeah, and it was pretty beautiful to see Oklahoma just absolutely crumble over a couple of days because Lincoln Riley just
talk about if the stuff that we're reading is true about him about recruiting before he left Oklahoma, I had a coach out recruiting, man,
pretty.
Some of these guys are
stuff.
slime balls.
Yeah, because actually it's funny because the company I work at, we do pads, and we actually did pads for his house like 3 months.
Yeah, you predicted that
3 months ago.
He pulled.
No. You actually did.
Then
I went back like, we actually do that? Because I heard we were doing it, and then I didn't hear about it after that, but apparently we did actually go to his house and put pads in his indoor basketball court in Norman, and so he got to enjoy that for 3 months. And now he's going to L.A. And the thing was, I saw him like also the thing was USC was talking about Campbell's automatically going there like the next day, and then Lincoln Riley said, "I'm not going to LSU" in the press conference, and then like 10 hours later he's going to USC, and they're like, "Oh, thank God!" So yeah. And
so they're thinking it's going to be Venables from Clemson. Yeah. It's going to go there, and we're playing Clemson in the Cheez-It Bowl. We found that out about an hour ago.
Yep.
So
that'll be interesting to see how that affects it. I wonder if he'll still coach the defense for that bowl game if he gets announced Oklahoma or not.
I don't know. I mean, I think the Cheez-It Bowl is a major disappointment for a team that just won a national championship.
Especially if he gets the Oklahoma job, doesn't coach the Cheez-It Bowl, and like how many of those staff go with him to the Oklahoma.
That's true.
And
it's going to be a road game for us because Clemson to Orlando is drivable. Yeah, obviously.
But it'll just be, and Iowa's in the same town the same week, so it'll be.
What's the day different? I mean, when does Iowa play versus when they play? They play after us, right?
Yeah, 3 days after us, I think. Yeah, they play Kentucky, a basketball school, and
yeah, I saw that. That's not exactly. I mean, if you don't follow football, that's not a sexy matchup. I like our matchup better from a name standpoint, but
yeah, it was just.
Hawks got rolled yesterday.
Yeah, they got rolled by Michigan. You can blame that on Wisconsin for losing Minnesota because Iowa had no business being there, and yeah.
So what are we gonna do? We're gonna talk about the year in review, or are we just gonna talk about current stuff?
I would talk about Campbell stuff, and then I'm just gonna go on to the game that happened last night, Creighton.
Well, before we move on from football, let's you told me you heard that possibly Will McDonald might be staying.
I heard, or it's like the murmurs like.
50, so who's possibly staying? But 50, Will McDonald might stay.
I saw Sheem Young on the graphic, so he's probably staying.
Okay.
And then Will McDonald is a 50-50 shot. That's the rumors I heard. 50-50 shot of him staying, which would be insane because I think he could probably be a second-round pick.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if he stays and blows up next year, but he's already like leading the nation in sacks. So I don't know why he would stay, but that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be.
You would just absolutely shatter the records even more at Iowa State.
I wonder if he got dinged up towards the end of the year. I think we're going to find out when the season's over officially. When Campbell kind of does lets us look behind the curtain a little bit, like he usually does. We're going to find out who was really hurt because I think we had a lot more injuries than we thought.
Yeah, like that would make a lot of sense for the offensive line because they fell off. They never got it right all year.
Yeah.
They were hyped up all offseason and it never panned out, and that's why I think we're going after transfers for O linemen. I've seen a couple.
We need a couple tackles possibly. I mean, I think We've got some guys that have potential, but geez, you watch some of these SEC games,
just massive.
And these are skyscrapers these guys have for offensive linemen, and they're a lot bigger than our guys. I mean, so yeah, I think I've said that for 20 years that for Iowa State football to get to the point where we want to get them, we have to have a Midwest very good offensive line, and
just gotta,
and ours has been average.
Or at best, because I mean it's hard to recruit players when we don't have like a show a pattern like, oh, we actually develop offensive linemen, because we haven't really done that ever.
No,
in our whole history. And like Iowa is so good because they just have to show, all right, there's 22 or whatever offensive linemen that played in the NFL or that played in the NFL.
Well, it's Kirk Ferentz' specialty. I think when he came from the NFL, he was coaching offensive line. Yeah, so I mean, obviously he knows what he's doing.
It's the biggest hurdle we got, because I never thought we would figure out the defensive line, because we've had one of the best defensive lines in conference, which I never thought would ever happen, because we were always last when it came to that in the Rhodes era. And yeah, it'll just
this is a year of a lot of what ifs. I mean, that if we would have had our kicking game would have been better at the beginning of the year.
Punting,
punting. Yeah. That's what. Yeah, and then if I think Brees was dinged up at the beginning of the year. We still don't know that, but man, he looks like a completely different person today than he did week 2 or 3.
He just took over senior day.
Absolutely. I mean,
Brock didn't even really have that much to do, because Brees was just, I'm going to win this game by myself.
And Kohler was hurt too. I mean, at the beginning of the year, and he looks like a different person today than he did then. I mean, how much fun was Kohler to watch? I mean, that last game and the Oklahoma game for that matter. I mean, he was doing everything he possibly could to win those games. And
we're just like
going to miss Mike Rose, man. He was a lot of fun to watch. I mean, he was one of my favorite guys. He even got a chance to meet his dad this year and everything. I mean, he's going to be one that'll be really missed. But I think we have got a lot of guys that we haven't heard of that are going to step in, and Purchase really played well at the end of the year, and
which I don't know why we were saying all year, just throw him out there because he's got the most potential, because the guy in front of him hasn't done anything his whole career. And
I think the future is really bright. I think we're stable. I'm sure they're going to go after some of our assistants and try to pull those guys away from us, but I'm looking forward to next fall as much as I was looking forward to this fall.
I think I like Iowa State fits more of like having no expectations and surprising everyone, just like Baylor, because there's like Baylor that won yesterday and by 6 inches or whatever.
That was a great play at the end. I mean, that kid was so close to hitting the pylon to win it.
But that's not on that guy's fault. They had seven tries to get in 1 yard. Just do a QB sneak once.
Yeah, and they tried. I mean, they put the double fullbacks on that one side 2 or 3 plays and couldn't get it in. Why didn't they not review that one where they said his elbow was down? I mean, it looks like he was within an inch of being the goal line, but they still didn't review it. I don't get it. They didn't review any of those. Yeah. How many reviews did we have to sit through this year at our games?
Because Okie State is somewhere fast-paced. Iowa State, we drag on even when we're down, we just take our sweet time on offense. But Okie State is trying to go fast. And
it didn't work.
And for where ESPN is terrible on replays. They take 10 years.
Speaking of ESPN, so can we talk about the Memphis game? ESPN, the Memphis basketball game was so bad.
Yeah, they just don't know what, like the camera angles, I don't know. It just makes why fix something that's not broken? We don't need to put different camera angles. It's just annoying.
It's showing Penny Hardaway you were counting out loud how long the camera was on him when the game is going on.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. I mean,
I heard
it's so hard to watch a game on ESPN, a basketball game right now, because they are trying to overthink it. They show all of these people, all the people in the crowd, the guy wearing the banana suit and all this crap, and they don't actually show the game. And we're yelling at the TV most of the time, show the game.
Yeah, because there's some times where a play happens and they cut to it and then we don't get to see what happened. So,
right. So, yeah. And then they don't show replays.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ESPN is supposed to be so good at this. They suck. I mean, right now, watching a couple of games we watched, it was painful to watch.
But I think a fix from their problems is, I mean, they probably don't care because they're the top dog, and it doesn't matter. They don't really care because people show up to the product no matter what. But they should buy Learfield, and you can do a separate thing for John Walters and Eric Heft, and do that for every school. And I feel like that would kill it because I'd rather definitely listen to those guys than just random people.
Or the West Virginia guys we had
just terrible.
Were awful. We've had some awful basketball ones before, and I would pay money to be able for them to sync our radio broadcast and theirs because we tried it. We tried the app and it didn't work very well. The varsity app.
Eric Heft and John Walters are just us, but like elevated because they're right there. They've been there for. Eric Heft has probably been the most Iowa State sporting events out of anyone in history.
Yeah, Eric Heft has been there since Hild Coliseum was built. He was there since our football field was built. For the most part, he was there a couple years after that. And he doesn't care. He doesn't care if he makes anybody mad.
He'll yell at the
refs while he's. I mean, that's what I love about him. I remember being at a game and him taking his headphones off to yell at a referee. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, ESPN's got it figured out. I thought the Fox broadcast of the Creighton game was much better than the Memphis game.
I don't know. Whenever it's like a high action game, and it was a sloppy game yesterday by both teams. Yeah. Like Creighton had 21 turnovers. They had 13 turnovers in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
and it was just ugly. What's different about this team is I'm just waiting for the other team just to go off against us. But our defense is so sound, and it's just very awkward. I don't know. It's weird. It's totally different watching Iowa State games because we're used to watching Iowa State not playing defense, going down 20, and then finally getting back, and then finally winning at the end. But now we're just playing defense the whole game, and like our rotations is on point.
Yeah, we're locking people up.
And TJ is just the thing about not TJ is better than the other guys. Rotations, defense is what like the other guy came in and tried to put defense in our George Yang.
So we're referring to Prom as the other guy from here at this point forward. Okay,
because I don't know. I'm sick of hearing. I just hate saying his name. Honestly, it just brings up bad memories and just makes me mad.
But let's not talk about him. We got TJ. So who cares?
Yeah, because I'm just saying how much better it is now. It's just like those players. We don't exactly have more talent than last year. We do with like Tyrese, but they just play their butts off. And like Trey Jackson looks like a new player.
Yeah,
because Trey Jackson last year, I'm like, is he even a D1 player? But like then TJ comes in. Stu's confidence in him, and he's a perfect backup point guard to Tyrese.
Yeah, and that he's getting so many minutes right now that it's helping Tyrese be able to be fresh at the end of the game. Yeah. It's not we're not shoving a freshman out there and making him play 39 minutes in a game where he's 18 years old trying to figure it out. I was trying to look up how many minutes Trey played. Trey only played. According to the box score, only played 9 minutes against Creighton.
It was a pretty solid 9 minutes.
Yeah.
I think Trey can shoot more because I think has a good shot, and he's kind of hesitant. But whenever he does, something usually goes in. And I think, he's like him and Condit, just brand new players. And
Condit looks a lot better. He still runs his mouth a little too much for my taste. But our defensive end, the basketball geeks will get it, but they're really forcing him to either the corner or the short corner. They're really denying reversal when the ball gets below the free throw line. They are doing everything they can to keep it on that side of the floor. And then when they force it, because there's a school of thought in basketball, you either force it to the middle, which is kind of an old school way of doing it, or you force it to the corner or the baseline, or the short corner, the corner or the side. And obviously TJ is forcing it to the corner or the side. And the key to that working is your help coming from the middle of the lane across the lane to be able to stop a drive to the basket. And then the backside guy is dropping off of the guy you left to be able to cover the backside. And nobody has been able to exploit that yet because we are getting both feet outside of the arc to take a charge. Coons has taken – I don't know how many he's taken. He's got to be close to double digits in charges so far. Yeah, and we have rarely seen a kid get a drive to the hoop cleanly all year. And last year it was like a layup drill sometimes. So I've had a lot of fun trying to break down what TJ's doing defensively, and then offensively, you can tell. When our guys start dribbling too much, he's obviously telling him to move the ball, and we have possessions where we don't dribble, which never happened the last few years.
We have players that don't blame it on others.
Right.
Like they blame it on themselves, and like there's others that pick them up. Like just totally different than the last couple of years.
And we talk about culture, and that's kind of a cliche anymore. But man, it sure looks like he's got the culture figured out. If I would have told you that Kalsher's going to have 2 points and we're going to win at Creighton,
or Brockington struggled, but he kept playing. Like
right,
he
was 3 for 13.
What's different about him and like the other players that we had that were like if they were not playing on offense, they just completely shut down on defense. And Brockington missed lots of layups yesterday, but he took out his frustration on defense rather than just pouting and getting benched. So
he was 3 for 13, 7 rebounds. Ended up at 12 points, but most of those came in the last 10 minutes. I mean, and he plays his butt off. Man, he can get up. He tried to throw that one drive down, and then Caleb Grill came in and cleaned it up. And
Caleb Grill just
baby, he is. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, because he grew up an Iowa State fan. He had to transfer because of frustration with the other guy, and went to the because he originally was recruited by TJ. He was going to go to South Dakota State, but then Steve. Went in because he's an Iowa State fan, picked him up, and then it was a disaster his first year. Goes UNLV, and then TJ leaves, and they follows him because like the new transfer rule can follow TJ, and he's just it's just so like going to Hilton and seeing him like have success. It's just like he's finally living his dream.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's so fun to see a kid get to live out that dream because a lot of us have had that dream.
Yeah, because he's probably was so disappointed because he had to transfer, and now he's back living his dream. And it's just
4 for 4 from 3 yesterday. That one in the corner that he just kind of picked up off the ground and chucked it and went in. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun to see him have success. And yeah, I mean, we haven't really obviously like it's rainbows because we haven't lost, but I don't know. It's so fun to watch these guys play.
Yeah, I mean we're 7-0 or 8-0, excuse me. I mean. We're sniffing them. And Lenardi had us in the tournament last week as a 7th seed for crying out loud.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy because before the season we lose 2 guys that we thought were our best shooters, and we still have success so far, and we look like a Eustachy team, kind of on defense.
Yeah, defensively I could say that. I think we are we're as hard nosed as the Eustachy team is, but. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good comparison. I mean, I'd have to think about that a little harder. I mean, because I was, waist deep in all of those Eustachy games, and, my whole week was centered around watching those games play. And so before we moved back, I was watching my TV when we lived in New Mexico, and then when we got back and I got season tickets. Yeah, it's a good comparison. It's just such a different personality, though. I mean, I'm saying
on the court play, obviously, TJ – off the court is a little.
Well, I mean, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about Paul Shirley said he wasn't hanging out with his teammates. I mean, they played well together at the time, but it seems like our guys truly like each other. I mean, when you watch them on the highlights of the
But I feel like those coaches don't have success anymore because the top players don't even like. Coach Cal is kind of like has the best happy medium when it comes to that.
Yeah, but
he's had to change so much.
Yeah,
because he had to. I feel like Frank Martin did go to the Final Four a couple of years ago, but like those type but he's kind of just a hard-nosed guy. I feel like TJ's kind of both, but he knows how to manage egos, and because he's been at Iowa State and saw how to use Hilton. It's just so fun because he knows how to use Hilton.
Right. You've been screaming for that for a long time.
Because like the other guy would just call timeouts because like he thought if you call timeout, they're more likely to listen to you in the huddle. I'm just like, no.
Yeah, after we make a shot.
The crowd will be so loud that the other coach will call timeout. So you're just wasting a timeout.
Right. Yeah, that drove me crazy too.
Just made no sense at all. So it's just, we got Trey King too.
Yeah.
Trey King is.
That'll be interesting. I mean, obviously TJ has done his homework on him. It's hard to bring in a kid that nobody really knows very well and then figure out where you're going to put him in the middle of the season. So TJ, I'm sure had to think long and hard about, is he going to affect our culture or not?
He's not guaranteed to play next semester yet.
He's not.
It's not guaranteed. I hope so because he'd be a perfect guy off the bench because he's athletic.
Yeah,
and he'd be fun to watch. And
so whose minutes does he take? I mean, we thought Robert Jones maybe.
I don't know. It'll be it's hard to come in right in the heat of Big 12 play. That's kind of be really hard to do with him. So
'cause we've got 8 guys getting double-digit minutes right now. I mean, there's only one ball, like they say. I mean,
yeah. So yeah,
I tell you what, Coons is so much fun to watch just because I think he plays so hard. He's gotten healthy, and he made that one spin cycle move against Memphis. That was a lot of fun to watch. But then he takes so many charges, and he's such a thin kid. He's not real thick.
I think he can shoot threes, and he just hasn't done it yet. He had that one game where he just went off. But
right.
I think he has the pick and pop. I think we're going to utilize that more hopefully on Thursday.
Yeah, he took no threes yesterday and 7 boards.
Yeah, I mean, he just does what he needs to be done to win.
Yeah, we were 50% from 3 yesterday, but it's still we put on 64 points. We're gonna have to do better than that.
Yeah, we had 9 points. We had 9 points left with 9 points. In the game with 8 minutes left.
That first half was brutal.
Yeah, just Greg McDermott's 0-2 against first-year head coaches at Iowa State.
I wish that Hawkins kid.
Yeah,
he's from Atlantic.
Yeah,
I mean, he won a couple Division II national titles at Northwest Missouri State. I wish he was playing for us. I mean,
he was good.
He's an Iowa kid. It'd be kind of fun to follow because I know a buddy of mine lives in Atlantic and he was actually at the game because he's following the Atlantic kid around. But man, he had 25 points. It was 8 for 11 from the field. I mean,
he's like George Yang light.
Yeah, right.
He's perfect. It would have been perfect for us, but.
Creighton. Yeah, no, it's fun. We got a big game Thursday.
I didn't realize how big Creighton Stadium is.
Yeah, well, that's where they have regionals there.
17,000 people there. Yeah. It was sold out, and it didn't feel like it on TV.
No. Hilton's louder than that place.
It was pretty quiet. It looked like the Yum Center kind of.
Yeah, it's smack dab kind of in the middle of downtown Omaha, and there's a lot of hotels around there, and that's why they get a regional for basketball. I mean, and it's kind of like why we've started to get a little bit in Wells Fargo.
Is there half Nebraska football fans and they're Creighton basketball fans? That's why I feel like they have a pretty big fan
Sure,
base.
They've got there's before pre-Fred, there's guys that are Nebraska football fans and Creighton basketball fans because Nebraska basketball has sucked for so long.
They still have not won an NCAA tournament game in their history.
Yeah. No, nobody. I mean, Nebraska's facilities are a lot better than they used to be. I mean, the place they play at now is really nice. It's really close to downtown Lincoln, but no, there's a lot of. I mean, Creighton's been good for off and on for a long time. Dana Altman was coach there. Yeah. I mean, so they've been good for a long time, and it's a beautiful facility. And it's close to where the College World Series is too, and it's kind of a cool downtown. I can't remember what the name of it is. My wife would kill me because she went to college there, but there's the place where all the bars and restaurants are is walkable from there. So it would have been a fun game to go to. But
should we talk about the bowl game a little bit? Because I mean, we got to talk about the bowl game. We got Iowa on Thursday.
Yeah,
that's going to be a crazy.
I know zero about Iowa.
Crazy atmosphere because Iowa. All I know really about them is McCaffrey's brothers. Cannot stand them at all.
Bohannon's going to have to put his shoes back on to play.
Yeah, Bohannon's like a year and a couple of days younger than Giannis, so that's just shows you how old he is.
And they've got a couple of twins, don't they? On the team?
The Murray twins. I respect the Murray twins because they're actually good, but the other ones, I don't know.
It'll be ugly. I mean, everybody's going to try to make it a cathartic moment to try to exercise some demons.
I can guarantee you, Fran's going to get teed up, and I think Kauscher's going to get a little.
Kauscher's going to talk.
A little round up, and because Brockington and Kauscher come from the Big Ten, they played Iowa.
Yeah,
and so it's a perfect recipe for just a crazy atmosphere, and I just hope we pull off a victory because we haven't beaten Iowa in anything since Jeff Beverly was shooting mid corner jumpers for Iowa State. So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. We always have to get a Jeff Beverly reference somehow.
He's 1-0 against Iowa. Not a lot of Iowa State players can say that in any sport, really. Oh. Jeff Beverly, the football player from UTSA. That's one of Steve's best recruits. No. We come off of.
He's the other guy, you mean?
Yeah, we come off of literally the best group of Iowa State players ever. And we get Jeff Beverly.
Well, don't beat up Jeff Beverly. He's done nothing to you. It's
not his fault.
No.
But still, the Iowa State brand hasn't been any bigger, and we get
Don't beat up Jeff Beverly.
Jeff Beverly and Hans Brace, and that's what we get when we were literally at the pinnacle of Iowa State. We just fell down. We got
Hans Brace was an unfortunate name as often as he was injured,
and he had tore both his ACLs in his career, and we still recruited him to come to Iowa State.
Well, we need to fill uniforms back
Just
then.
look at the first year of TJ, and then look at the first year of actual C players.
Yeah.
When Nick Babb and all those players left.
Yeah.
Man, that sucked.
Oh, let's not look back in negative times. We've got some good times ahead of us.
TJ is 2 wins away from having a better record than if he wins the next 2, he'll be the all-time winningest first-year head coach. And Steve had 8 NBA players on his team, and he lost to UNI at Wells Fargo. Yeah. All right, we're done talking about that.
Good.
All right, we the bowl game versus Clemson. Our buddy Josh Pate predicted we'd play Clemson in the playoff, but now we're playing.
Oh, really?
We're playing in the Cheez-It Bowl. It's a little different. I'm more of a cheese nip guy myself, but it's in Orlando.
All of those will kill you.
And it's in Orlando. I think it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see if Brees and all these studs play. And I think they will. But on the Clemson side, they might lose their D coordinator. They have players that. Because now, the good players don't play in bowl games. So now it's just really a preseason for the next year.
Do you think that Clemson is excited about playing? No. I mean, that's what we've got going for us in this. And it would be it's not, a huge bowl by any means. Any bowl is good in my opinion because, it's better than not playing. But a win over Clemson would sure feel pretty darn good.
Win over Dabo Swinney, who's still our defense, and win a couple championships. And it'll be fun. It's gonna be a good, fun atmosphere. I don't think I'm gonna go, but it's just all.
Yeah, I looked at tickets.
The flights went up $400 in half an hour.
Yeah,
because both Iowa and Iowa State are going to Orlando around the same week. So
I looked on Allegiant, and if you came home on the 3rd, then it gets more reasonable. But I'm sure that's probably going to change too. I mean, and after driving to Colorado and back 2 weeks ago, I'm sure as heck ain't driving.
Yeah, the West Virginia trip kind of ruined all the trips for me. I'm taking a break for a while because
we played Baylor on New Year's Day in basketball too. I mean that's an unfortunate time for that game because we don't be back yet.
Students are gone. I feel like that's happened because when was the last time we were Kansas when you had the students? Because we always play them before they come back. I don't know.
Yeah. Now we're playing Baylor before they come back, and they just came off a national championship
and they won the Big 12 in football.
Yeah,
with a second string quarterback.
Third string went out there for a couple snaps too. I mean,
I
don't know. It's that's aggravating. That I still am not over the whole Baylor debacle with the way they treated those kids down there. And but and Aranda is a really good coach, but that light that was staring us in the face right now is more exciting than he is. I mean, he is a boring interview. I mean, he's just not very dynamic by any means.
He's a hell of a football coach.
Yeah, he's a hell of a football coach, obviously. He's got a staff. He's got a staff that's good coaches.
I think he's just imagine they had Art Briles, who's charismatic, gunslinger, and then the opposite is Dave Aranda, defense. Right. He's perfect for Baylor, and
I'm just trying to be a smart aleck, but I mean he's a heck of a coach. Obviously, that's a heck of a turnaround.
But my hate for Baylor is kind of diminishing because I love Scott Drew. He loves Iowa State, and they got rid of all the all the people that were involved with allegations are all gone. So sure we can be.
They had a player shoot another player.
Yeah, that was that's.
I mean, when I remember when that happened, Dave Bliss was the coach. I mean,
and then they how many years later? 20. I think
it was around 1999, 98, roughly that time, I think. And that was brutal.
Yeah, they won.
Yeah, they had a kid on that team that was from Albuquerque that when he was in high school, when we lived down there, he played for one high school team before Christmas, transferred over Christmas break, and then was playing for another team after Christmas break. They didn't have to sit out.
Oh, yeah. That'd be interesting if Iowa had that rule.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So you imagine if Humboldt played a conference team before Christmas break, and then you played against them.
Like you're playing,
they beat you, and then the next time you play them, the next semester, that you could be on the other team.
Yeah, it'd be like somebody from Valley changing to Dowling.
Yeah,
I mean, or whatever. I mean, it's Southeast Polk going to Dowling in the middle of the season and not having to sit out.
Yeah, but we also got a DJ Anderson, D-end recruit from Minnesota. He's 6'3", 285.
That just happened today, didn't it?
Today, a couple hours ago. He looks the part. I'm not sure if he's a good player or not, but he looks the part, and hopefully Campbell, because I think he'll replace like Zach Peterson, or will just be interesting because we have some young studs too.
I think Ryan Harklaw's right. We got a lot of guys we don't know who they are, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, like can't remember his name. I should remember his name, but the D-end we got coming in. He's in high school now. He's just in the one video I showed you.
Oh yeah,
he's just
a
monster.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
the transfer portal makes the whole offseason interesting. If we could pick up, maybe a couple experienced linemen, because I know they're high on the Miller kid from Jefferson as an offensive lineman, but he's still really young. So I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of the Wild West when it comes to transfers. And so who have we had transfer away? Did we talk?
Trick Milton, who was a senior.
God help him. And hey, he's trying to find time. He's done everything he could for us. He's been hurt. Hope he finds.
Jalen Noel kind of stole his thunder this year.
I hope Treek has a lot of success wherever he ends up.
Because that first, I'll never forget his catch against Iowa. Like the pet way to him in the Iowa game. Purdy's first game at Okie State, he caught a couple touchdowns, and he was
fast.
He's a fast kid. And
got great dreads.
Great cyclone. But
great cyclone. Yeah.
And I think, and there's a couple people that really didn't play, transferred, and
So Mevis is done, right?
I don't know. I think he could use a COVID year. I hope he does because
we got a punter coming in.
Yeah, but tell me I'm wrong. He's the best kicker in Iowa State history.
Jeff Shudak's pretty good. His son's won the kicker for Iowa.
They missed a 23-yard field goal last night.
Yeah, but Jeff
I'm just saying,
Jeff Shudak was good. Kid from Ankeny was pretty good. I mean, Ankeny was cranking out kickers there for a while. The kicker from Miami, when Miami was good, was from Ankeny. I don't know. That's a tough one.
I only think he missed one or two this year. That's
Yeah. But it's also we were so used to being bad at kicking that all of a sudden now he's a world beater.
Yeah.
So,
it's kind of hiding him, but I don't know.
Just kind of like we're going through with basketball right now. To be honest with you, I mean, we went from being so bad to now we think it's so great.
Because like the Memphis game, like if you look outside view of our living room, it looked like we were playing the Final Four. Like that's how excited we were when we were just crushing.
Oh, I know. It was,
Memphis.
That was the most into all of us have been watching a basketball game in a very, very long time.
Probably since like NCAA tournament. Like
you and Will and Michael got up. Sorry, I'm messing with the thing. You and Will and Michael got up and were doing the huddle dance and everything. It was a lot of fun.
It was so fun, and they've fallen off.
Memphis, they're 5-3.
They have talent, but man, they don't have any discipline, and they're just kids that. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, they have Larry Brown as an assistant coach and Wallace from the Pistons as an assistant coach.
Yeah, the leader, NBA leader in technicals.
Yeah, that was funny when they said during the Memphis game, one of the Memphis kids said, "Who is that?" to Larry when he came into practice, and they were pointing at Larry Brown. And he goes, "He play somewhere?" So no, he's just in the Hall of Fame.
He's a freaking Hall of Famer that coached AI and won a game against AI in the finals against Shaq and Kobe at their height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Larry Brown knows basketball a little bit.
Kansas
never won Hilton.
Never won Hilton though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was with Danny Manning back in the day.
That'd be like if reference, like who would be on like his stature, just a random guy would be on our staff. That's like that Hall of Famer that's still around. Who do you think? Like,
I don't follow you.
Like he's kind of like not known my generation, but like what if we had a random Hall of Fame coach? Like who's another guy that could be like Larry Brown, but like, you know what I'm saying?
That would have
who's still around that could like is it not Phil Jackson because he's too well known.
Somebody's not. I mean Popovich. I mean you put him. You put Popovich on the Iowa State bench. I bet you 50% of the people in the crowd don't know who the hell he is.
Yeah, you're probably right because
he's not. He's
in Iowa, because no one watches the NBA.
Right. I mean, put. Oh gosh, who's the guy who used to coach the Pacers? Coaches Magic now, I think.
I don't know. The guy looks like Joe Gatto.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is his name?
He coaches Lakers now. can't remember his name.
Carlisle?
No, yeah, the Carlisle? Yeah, Carlisle, yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like that guy looks like Jim Carrey.
Yeah, so you put him on the bench. Nobody's going to recognize him unless you're an NBA
that's
fan.
True. That's a good comparison. Yeah, I mean, he looks exactly
he's
like,
not as old as Larry Brown.
he looks like Jim Carrey. He looks exactly like Jim Carrey.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of NBA coaches that are really good coaches that you would never – I mean, you put Nick Nurse on the sidelines. I mean, there's a lot of people that would, if they're not from Iowa, they wouldn't know who the heck he is. I mean –
Carroll, Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah.
He did a camp for me in the Humboldt gym when you were little.
I remember that, yeah.
Came here, him and his staff assistant that he still has with the Raptors did a shooting camp in our old middle school.
Yeah, I remember that.
Back about 10, 15 years ago, and came up and he probably made $500 maybe, and I sat and talked to him for an hour about just basketball stuff, and he was kind of in between jobs and was coaching the D League at the time, and was just going around doing camps to make a little money, and he loves basketball. The stories he told about when he was playing at UNI and then he played in Europe, about how he got better at shooting. He kept a handwritten journal of what he did in his free throw shooting drills himself and trying to get himself better. He wrote it down. And then when he was at the free throw line in a big situation, he would mentally put himself back in that gym where he would do all of this practicing, and so he would just visualize the rim being the same and the background being the same, and that's he was like a 95% free throw shooter, some ungodly number. I mean, he was just a really Iowa down to earth dude, and I'll never forget it. I mean, it was I can go on and on about my brushes with greatness that I had when I was younger and running around doing camps, and my sitting on a couch with Bob Huggins and watching Rick Pitino play one-on-one against a bunch of high school kids, and when I went to the Kentucky's camp, I mean, that was a lot of fun, you realize when you see that stuff that some of these guys are just people. Yeah. I mean, some are jerks and some are good people. Bob Huggins is not a nice person. Tom Davis is a really nice person.
Yeah,
Rick Pitino, nice person. Billy Donovan, super guy.
Yeah, Rick Pitino's kind of
shook hands with Billy Donovan. He had a Miller Lite in one hand and shook my hand with his other hand and said, "Welcome to Kentucky." And no, that was before he had made it big. And Herb's the funniest one that weekend. I've told this story 100 times to other people, but Herb Sendek was an assistant for Pitino when I went down and I paid my own money. I was coaching high school. I flew down to Kentucky and got a chance to work at Rick Pitino's camp for a week back when that was a thing. So one night I'm sitting I had to supervise the dorms. The coach at Minnesota was on my dorm floor. He was in middle school.
Yeah.
What's his name? Is it Rick? Richard Pitino was on my dorm floor. I walk up behind him. He's filling up a trash can full of water in the bathroom. And I said, "Kid, what are you doing?" He turns around, it's him. I said, "Man, you're going to get in trouble." And he goes, "Coach, I've been here for 3 weeks. I am so bored." And so then I just started laughing. We dumped the water out and we went on our way. But Herb Sendek, I think it might have been the same night, I'm sitting in the lobby of the dorm room, just make sure the kids aren't running around being stupid. And him and I sit down, and he looks at me and goes, "So you're from Iowa, huh?" And he goes, "Yeah." And this is when Fred's playing for Iowa State. He goes, "Boy, if we would have known about that Hoiberg kid, we would have recruited the crap out of him." So this is pre, internet and everything. And we talked about Fred Hoiberg at the time back then. And Herb has gone on, and I don't know where he's coaching now, but he was at Arizona State at one time. I think he was at North Carolina State at one time. But, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. And I learned a lot, man. Tell you what, some of those guys, you see that they're really good recruiters, but I watched Billy Donovan teach basketball to a bunch of high school kids. I watched Rick Pitino, the way he interacts with Jamal Mashburn was in college then. He was there. It was just really interesting to see the level of expertise some of these guys have. But then I went to the same week. That same year, I go to Cincinnati's camp, or Cincinnati, to watch them practice, and Bob Huggins is having the kids play dribble tag. There's these 6'8" guys playing dribble tag at half court, and D'Antonio Wingfield is playing for him, and he gets kicked out of a dribble tag drill. I mean, I could go on and on, but it was a lot of fun.
My favorite story is when I was at Hoiberg shooting camp. He was still I think he had his heart thing, and then he came back to Ames with he did a shooting camp. Me and Tony went, and we brought Johnny Orr to talk to us, and you guys were going to the bathroom at the same time.
Yeah.
You peed against.
Yeah, stood next to the urinal in Johnny Orr.
Yeah.
Where are you from? I'm from Humboldt. He goes, oh, I used to go hunting in Humboldt.
Yeah.
That was my brush with Johnny Orr. Yeah, that was because he had somebody come. Fred had somebody come from the Timberwolves or the Lakers that he played with.
I think the T-Wolves, yeah.
Who was that? Because he brought his Lakers championship rings with him.
Yeah, I think he was either retired. He might have played with.
Who was that?
Played on the bench for the Lakers. I can't remember his name. He was white though.
Yeah,
that's all I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember some kids like saying, "Why didn't you bring Kevin Garnett?" It's like, he's kind of busy.
Yeah, I remember that Fred lifted his shirt and showed his zipper,
his pacemaker.
Yeah, his scar that he had. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and just
we have to go into the stories about having Tyrus McGee and Jameel here and your little brother talking crap at Tyrus McGee one time. That was hilarious. But
yeah, Tyrus. Yeah, Tyrus is. Yeah, Tyrus. I don't know if he'd survive. He's the best shooter of all time at Iowa State. And
I still watch highlights. I can still watch highlights of him all day. It was so much fun.
Yeah, just the perfect player for Hilton. Just catches fire, and man, those are fun times. And hopefully Thursday is like a because it'll be a packed stadium arena. On Thursday
it'll be nuts. I can't, man. I got to wait for your brother to get out of practice, and we're buzzing down there.
Because this will be for some students at Iowa State. This will be the first packed Hilton, angry Hilton they'll ever experience. Because they're probably because last year didn't happen, obviously, and the year before we weren't very good.
What's it on?
I have no idea. ESPN, because Fran said he's calling it, so I'm guessing it's on ESPN.
Yeah.
So
Fran will be there. Probably have it's an 8:00 game, so he's got to get to Hickory Park before the game.
Yeah. So it's just a lot of stuff's happened last time we talked. Campbell is staying, thank God. We're still 8-0 at basketball, and we're playing against Clemson. And because I don't know, it's kind of I feel like we're not really excited for Clemson, but like if you told us, I'm saying like some people thought we were going to do the playoff. Those people but like if you'd told us before the season we're going to play Clemson, like we're like okay, we must have done pretty good. But Clemson didn't exactly play very good this year, and we kind of did the same. And I just hope all of our good players play, and hopefully most of their good players play. So even if we beat them by like a couple touchdowns, they can't be like, oh well, their best players didn't, because like that's why I think, because bowl games back then everyone played in the game. Now it's just like, why would I play in the game for the Cheez-It trophy?
Right.
But now it's just like a trend to not play. But I just hope Breece Hall and all them play.
But if they decide not to play, then
it's just the trend.
Yeah.
But I
hope they do. Hope they do.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just feel like the playoffs kind of kill bowl games. Yeah. So I don't know. So I mean, we went through a lot here, and hopefully we beat the Hawks.
Yeah, that would be a good thing to do.
We are due. We're overdue for beating Iowa. So
don't forget about our partners. GrandviewBeef.com. Use the Sound the Sirens promo code. If you want to get some free beef sticks, you have to put them in the cart. Then use the STC promo code. And we're still working with ChewWorks.com. We go through the chews for our dog all the time, so check them out. They'll be glad to help you out. Check out the website, SoundTheSirens.com. That's CYRNES. Remember, got plenty of shirts. We got some new stuff coming. It's going to be on the website here in the next, hopefully next week or so. So, got plenty of shirts to wear into Hilton if you want.
Yep. And sweatshirts should be here this week.
Yeah, get some crews coming. Yeah. I know it's a pretty trendy thing right now.
Yeah, so hopefully that gets in this week. So
yeah. But we're not going to announce it we're not going to put them on there, talk about it until we actually get them. So
all right. So go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones.